Hey guys, welcome back to the Tough Love Podcast with Dr. John O'Connor. Today's guest, Allie Goldstein, hybrid athlete, Monmouth University MBA student, an absolute phenomenon person to talk about. And we're just welcome her to the show today. Allie, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So Allie, you know what? First podcast today?
Yes.
All right, we're going to have some fun. So kind of loved your story when we talked. And when I have young athletes and hybrid athletes, I thought it was pretty amazing that you did your undergrad and as well as your MBA program at Monmouth, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I thought was pretty special about you is the fact that you would do this whether you're getting paid or not. Like you want to be a social influencer. You like putting a message out there. And who was a person, and I believe you shared the name, but who was a person that really inspired you that you said, I want to be like her?
Yeah, sure. So Sydney Adams, I've been following her for the last few years. She originally lived in like Michigan, I think, moved to Florida and Tampa, which is something I want to do. I'm not sure about Tampa, but definitely Florida. And she is a fitness coach. She's online mainly. She was doing personal training while she was in college, something kind of like I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. And she's built her brand. She now has her clothing line through one of her friends that created their own brand. So it's kind of just like, I wouldn't call it like a domino
footsteps,
effect. Yeah.
Right? Footsteps. You almost want to follow in the footsteps.
Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of, I look up to her. She's only a few years older than me.
Fantastic.
Which is cool because it's not like a big age gap. But yeah, I definitely want to be like what she's doing.
One of the neat things that I saw about when I had sent you some questions to review was you're a happy kid. Okay. And with the whole story behind Tough Love is talking about a little bit of adversity, but you really didn't have a lot. And even when I guess you're kind of brainstorming with your friends and saying, hey, I want to do this. And it sounds like you have a really good support group. They're really adorable. They're like, hey, you know what, Allie, you're good at it. Keep doing it. Right. Mm-hmm. Do you do fitness training right now? Do you train anybody or are you just doing the MBA classes at Monmouth University?
So I'm just doing the MBA classes. I was training before in person at a commercial gym, but it wasn't really for me. I kind of want to just do stuff on my own and online so that it's easier for me and the client.
Got it.
It could be just anywhere, anyone.
I like that. So obviously, already completed your undergrad, you're kind of putting your knowledge to work, putting your degree to work. So you want to have a virtual platform.
Yeah.
I like it. So one of the things that I thought was pretty impressive too was, for me at 25 years of a professional basketball trainer, my last 10 were all female athletes, professional, college, high school, and youth. I thought your story about wanting to do the bathing suit competition, the fitness competition, I think I attended where you're supposed to be this weekend at TNEC. Tell my audience about that, because I think there was a little hardship there. There was a little timing. And a little bit of a medical scare.
Yeah.
Right? Please share.
Sure. So over the last few years, it's definitely been a goal of mine. I've followed multiple fitness influencers and I just saw them competing and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to do that one day. And then I never really knew like why I wanted to do it. Or until like the last like few years, it was more so I wanted to put myself through that whole prep phase for discipline and to see not only what my body would look like, but what I would get out of it mentally as a person. Cause I know they say like you just grow as a person overall. And like, that's why I wanted to do it. So I know it takes a lot mentally. So I mentally prepared myself my senior year of college, which was last year, that I would step on stage this spring, which was actually supposed to be probably around this past weekend. Mm-hmm. And so I finished college and I'm still getting my MBA, but I live at home now. So it was like easier for me to train and diet and not be around friends and go out and party. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I was so excited. It took so long to like find a coach that I reached out to so many coaches and they weren't for me until I found this one coach and her husband, loved them. And it was like a perfect match.
They weren't the ones from Freehold, were they?
Where?
Well, they weren't from Freehold, were they?
No, they're in Long Branch.
Okay.
But I was so excited. I met them in July and she told me I'd be ready in November. And I was like, okay, I'm not ready yet, but which was cool because I was like, wow. And so many people like outside of in the gym were always like, are you prepping for a competition? I was just like, no, like, which kind of got me going, kind of like fueled the fire
You felt
a little
good,
bit.
right?
Yeah.
You felt good. You're like, okay, I'm going in the right direction here.
Yeah. So she told me, all right, we're going to start January 1st. We'll be good. Like, you're in great shape. Don't worry about anything. When we start, you'll just be like cutting. I was like, all right. So right before I left for Texas for the summer shredding show that I went to go see the bodybuilding, I was like, I just want to get my hormones tested just for the fun of it, just to see, like, I know people have done it. So I just wanted to see. And all my results came back. I had no idea how to read them. I sent them to the coach and she was just like, this isn't good. And she called me up. She didn't want to do it over text. And she was like, I'm sorry, but you are not going to be able to like start your prep on.
And that's where you
January.
actually then, he's bringing, that's when I said, it was, we were having a nice conversation. This is where you turned me to Dr. O'Connor. I said, wait a minute, this sounds clinical. So this is where you started having some testing and some scans and stuff, right?
Yeah. So it was a little,
This is where mom and dad got scared probably a little bit, right?
Yeah, we were scared. We had to get an ultrasound and a CAT scan to see if I had any abdominal tumor. And it was very scary those few days, like waiting and waiting and waiting.
Where are we at now with that?
We are completely good. Everything is fine. I'm healthy.
There you go.
So this is a sign to take your health
That's
first.
so right? So important, right? Health is first. Absolutely.
But it was a major setback for me because I mentally prepared myself for that for over a year and I was ready. I was so ready. And
that makes sense. I saw a post and I think it was probably in the last couple of weeks. And we have some similar paths because we train at Iron together and whatnot. And I think you were reflecting and mourning a little bit that there was a change, right? You wanted to do it no different than a professional athlete or, you know, it's a sport and you wanted to have your moment.
yeah.
So when are we registering for the next show?
Well, I don't know. It's a good question. I'm not definitely in the mindset anymore, which is okay. I know my time will come when it's the right time. But right now I'm just doing like lifestyle and just trying to have fun and appreciate my body that it's healthy now. So
well, today it's funny. You know, we talked this morning, and both of us. I had the pleasure of interviewing Mo and his wife Noor, the owners of Athletic Freak, and you recently did a photo shoot with them. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, I love what he talks about in creating a community. And I think the neat thing was when you said, and I don't know whether, I think it was just having a discussion yesterday, how much you enjoy being at Iron. Mm-hmm. And it's a youthful fitness culture. Like my son goes, that's playing baseball currently down at IMG. And when I go in there, it's like, I'm definitely dad mode. You know, I keep myself in great shape, but it's nice to see young kids. Being a coach, being a healthcare practitioner, deals with a lot of sports injuries. I like to see how they interact. Yeah. And I think one thing that, as I have a daughter that's a few years younger than you, that I think that our audience and our female audience should listen to is, I loved when I asked you, not so much about body shaming or like when you look at other people's bodies when you're getting ready for this, you said something that it really touched me in a positive way. And I thought, I was like, that's one of the reasons why you're on the show today, is they weren't competition. Mm-hmm. And even right now I can see in your face, you're like, I was like, yeah, that's important because so many girls are out there, and I've seen this over the years and athletes that I've worked with, whether it's self body shaming or mean girl syndrome or whatever the case may be. I was blown away with that confidence. And even like when you talk now, you're in front of me, I could hear it on the phone, but now I could see it in your body language. Where'd that come from? Was that like your parents? Was that a sport? Did you dance? Did you cheer? Is that just you? Like, or did I touch it to it? All the above?
All the above, literally all the above. Yeah. I did every sport, I did dance. My parents always cheered me on and always pushed me to be my best self. I have 3 older brothers. So I feel like that's where a lot of it comes from too, because they always they teach me, you know, who not to be, who to be.
Don't talk to him, I'll kill him. Got
literally. It. But yeah, I feel like it stems from a lot, you know?
Okay. I think that's important, but I will tell you that's definitely a message. And as you advance in social media space, and I think you will go far and wide, don't forget that one because that's super special. I think I do follow a couple female influencers, but more the athletes because that's my background. But I will tell you, as I come into interaction, as my podcast is growing, seeing a young student still, right? A master's student, nonetheless a student, that is probably the biggest gift you can give when you're broadcasting to the world a story of confidence. Be grateful. And I said it yesterday, and you came right back and go, no, I don't compete or want to look like anybody. I'm very happy with how I look and what I am. And that in itself could be your brand, right? Like love you, right? And, you know, and that's the neat thing about Athletic Freak in the community that, you know, today's sponsor is Mo was absolutely hysterical during the interview, right? And he's like, here I am, you know, and he's telling about his background, his ethnicity, and there's no triathlon athletes. And he's saying we're to train. His family is doctors and scientists and pharmacists and this and that. I go, this is moronic. What are you doing? You're a freak. Why are you training so hard? And he goes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my passion.
Yeah.
And his family, and, you know, and people say to me, like, I'm over more than twice your age and I'm going to be 50 in 28 days. And, you know, I just had my body fat composition done. Everything's single digits. And I said, you know, I'm going to double down. I have 28 days till I'm 50. And I want to be in the most amazing shape I can be in to inspire people when I'm working out. They're like, how old are you? You know, and because I don't care whether you're 23, 33, 63, 53, it's how you feel between your ears, right? And the energy that you bring and you give to people, I feel it's like lighting a candle. Right. And if you can bring light to a room and you can inspire somebody, you can do it too. All right. Like a story that I tell all my patients when they're like, doc, you're so fit. During COVID, I got hurt really bad. And my background's pretty unique. I was paralyzed as a kid and fractured my skull, knee surgery, broke my back. Like it goes. Right. And when I was in healthcare, I'd always use those stories when I was talking to young athletes to be like, you know, doc, you're a professional basketball trainer. You work out pro athletes all the time. I'm like, I've been hurt my entire life.
Right.
And the one thing that I learned was from adversity is your greatest teacher. And keep those tough times forward because they will drive you. Like the good times, so many times we take for granted. Like, you know, like you said, like it was almost nice being graduating because you're going to do this. You're like, it's fun, but it's endless fun. If I want to really dial down and do this competition, I need to have a little bit more.
Yeah. You
know, it's got to be stable. It can't be like, Allie, what's up? It's Michelle. We're going out. You going? Yep, I'm in. Where? All right, 10 minutes. Bye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Slay, as we said. I learned a word today. So, but the reality is that I think, and I always talk about that, is discipline. So I like to see the young population is always so excited to bring somebody that's a 20, early 20s and hear the discipline. Now, the other neat thing was you're interviewing for jobs. All right. You know, you said you might want to open a gym. And then I think about Dan and his brother, Ray, I think, and what the amazing story and their dad and the power of that story. Well, write your bio 3 years from now and I'm going to put you on the spot, but I see you starting to relax, right? And I can see it in your eyes. A perfect job, your side hustle, your social media, where you're living. Go.
Perfect job. Well, actually, first, I would be living in Florida.
Okay, living in Florida.
My perfect
East Coast or Gulf Coast?
East Coast. I'd probably be owning my own gym in the next 3 years?
3 to 5.
Okay, maybe not owning my own gym, but in the hopes of working in the process of.
And we're talking a boutique, like a smaller gym, like a training studio, or we're talking like iron?
I think I would want to start small first. And then if it, see how it does. And if it's doing
use those
really
MBA
well,
skills to see if it's profitable and not
of
a
course.
huge, okay.
Absolutely,
like
because
that.
that's
All
a big investment. And I guess that would probably be on the side for a little bit. And hopefully I'd be doing some sales where I'm not in a desk job, because I definitely cannot do that. But I feel like I would be really good at sales, and that's something that I'm looking at right now, because it's definitely flexible. It's hard work, but I know that I'm very committed.
Right?
Yeah,
You kill.
Exactly. Actually just heard that for the first time the other day. But yeah, I feel like I'm always someone who's on the move. Okay. So I need something that's always on the move.
Stimulates your brain.
Yeah.
I think sales would be great for you. The neat thing about that, and we talk about it all the time, and I'll definitely after the podcast share some of the people that inspire me and my film crew that's all around us right now. They're impressive. They're in their teens. And, it's one of the things that I tell my son, who I want him to go to law school, to have that craft. But if he wasn't, this space is limitless. You can, you could eat what you kill, but it could be endless if you get into the right, vertical. So sales, small boutique gym, and we definitely don't want a desk job.
Nope.
We're thinking East Coast, Florida. And talk to me about the social media space. I know I gave you a huge compliment that I think you could be an inspiration to the young girls and young ladies and women coming behind you. What would be your message? So you have the gym now, you have the boutique, you got the sales job, you live in Florida. Adams, here you come.
I just want people to be confident within themselves.
Okay.
That's my message. Like when you step in that gym, when you step outside of the gym, anywhere you go in the world, you're confident.
Got it. So bring that with you wherever you go. I like that.
Yeah.
So it's funny. So I think that your community is going to be confident females, right? That's what you want. And I love that because I was curious because so many times when my female athletes, it would always be, Doc, we got to talk diet with the girl, with my daughter, blah, 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 blah. You were impressive. There wasn't one thing. And, kudos to your parents. They'll be watching this. They did a great job. And your three older brothers did a great job because your pain points were kind of like an ambush, right? You didn't expect your hormones to come back. And then all of a sudden you had a little pituitary mass and a couple other things were incidental findings. But nonetheless, it was like, I was doing a bikini show. Now all of a sudden I'm in doctor's office getting ultrasounds and scans, right?
Yeah.
A little scary. Good wake up call. But I think the one thing, and it's funny, when I had Mo on my podcast, he hadn't been training. And I put him in the mix. I always say put in the blender. I mean, I put my athletes in pressure. And I was like, you're the head of the community. How do you not have a race on the schedule? And so then we busted out like God knows how many push-ups. And he texted me the next day, he just registered for a race in Tennessee or whatever. And he goes, I'm in, thank you. I need a little inspiration. So I would love to see maybe in the next 3 or 4 years, maybe one of your things is you sign up for, if you get your first apartment in Florida, you set up for a show down there. So it gives you some transition time, something to do as you're meeting people and trying to establish yourself down there. One last question as we kind of bring this together. What was like in the last, you were at Monmouth during COVID. Okay. What did fitness and life and everything look like then? Were you as confident as you are now?
Oh, COVID hit my freshman year. And I was trying to do like at-home workouts, but I was like I was working out all the time, but I was not so into it, but I was trying to do at home.
Meaning the fitness apps, like training at home,
like
lunges,
YouTube, whatever
you could get your hands on.
Yeah. I was
Walk
so
around
bored.
with gallons of water.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't really get so committed until my junior year of college, which was probably 2 years into COVID. Yeah. I've been working out for like 7 years, but really dialed in.
Yeah.
My junior year of college, it was really hard.
Okay.
Balancing college
and training,
especially during COVID with those
restrictions.
Masks.
Yeah.
But
I will say Under Armour did make the best ones.
Never tried them.
Oh, they're the best.
But it really does teach you like discipline. Like you don't know what's going to get thrown at you. And you kind of just...
Global pandemic can do that too.
Yeah.
Toughen you up real quick.
But when you're so passionate about something, this literally goes for anything.
100%.
It just shows you how bad do you want it,
It was funny. Our previous podcast, we were talking about Eric Thomas, and I know you don't know who he is yet, but you will. And, but he'd always say, if you want it as bad as you want to breathe. Right. And for me, that's kind of what fitness has been my whole life, right? So when I was probably around 15 years old, that's when I was paralyzed. And I was an athlete freak, right? I would run the reservoir. It was a 5-mile reservoir. I'd be around that reservoir as a basketball player in 27 minutes, 30 minutes max. I would run on the dead run, right? And from there, then I would jump on my bike and run around again. Then I'd get done, shower, eat, go to work, or wherever. My parents always had me working, just teaching me like, hey, you got to work. It's not just about this, and have balance. And then get home, shoot for an hour, and then wake up one day and I was paralyzed.
Right.
And for me, that was my first pandemic, because there's one thing when the world shut down. There's another thing when you're trapped inside your body. Shut
down, yeah.
Right? And that's even scarier, because you can walk outside, you can get away. And, that was a huge undertaking for me mentally. And I used it, as a kid, you just think you're going to be better tomorrow. Every day, you're like, I'm better tomorrow. No big deal. I'm better tomorrow. And then all of a sudden, when those tomorrows started getting longer, I got a little frustrated. But, then when you're around your kid, your family, much like it seems like you have some amazing parents on your hands, I was blessed, So I think that that's one thing that I think there's a common bond here, is that having your parents like say, hey, open your wings and fly, where it's Florida or wherever it goes. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Tell me about, I know you did a shoot with Underground Nutrition, right? And then you did Athletic Freak. Tell me the why. The Athletic Freak one was awesome. You went to one of the stores to do that?
No, I went to the media company that they worked at.
Got it.
Yeah,
they had like a photo shoot there. So they had clothes there, and then you shot in the clothes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Actually, I didn't know what to expect, because I've been last year invited to a shoot for a brand. And when I walked in there was so many girls in there. It was like
a little overwhelming.
And the focus was like all over the place. When I walked in here, my mom came with me, and she's my momager. And
momager.
Yeah. I walked in that room, and it was just me and one other guy, and I was like, wow.
And I think you shot a couple pictures with him, right? I think
no,
it was different. Well,
no.
That was okay. It was a different model that popped up.
But I was like, in that moment, I was like, oh my God, like,
this is impressive.
This is impressive.
I will tell you, did you have the opportunity to speak with Mo or no?
Not Mo, just Noor.
Okay. They're both remarkably impressive, right? Noor's got an artistic background, and Mo is a badass. Like, he has a massive corporate job. He, much like you, where you want the corporate sales and then use that to put back into your passion of having a fitness boutique or an online business presence. And when I was speaking with him, it was much like why I started the national coaching business I do, and I do medical device sales, and, I'm moving into these things that cause these monthly recurring revenue, and I'm learning, right? But I'm learning rapidly, and I'm hungry. And why I was so excited to get younger people around me is because, I as much as, like my social media crew, I laugh because these are my son. Mark is new to the posse, but, and the, Clean Media has been around me since he's 6 years old, so I've been looking at these adorable little mushes grow up, and it's impressive, because he'll call when something's going on. And I may not know all the answers, but the great thing about life is your mistakes when you're a winner are your building blocks, and they become brick by brick that you build a wall. And I call it the success wall. And every time you lose, you get a brick, and you have a choice. You can throw the brick and it feels good to toss the brick, or you keep building that wall. And that wall sets you up so that when stuff is coming, now it hits the wall, it doesn't hit you. And it doesn't get to that. It doesn't get to the emotional side of you, because you're prepared for it, because you use those failures as learning tools, right? So that'd probably be a little pearl I'd give to you, is those bricks, you're going to look at them different now when we say bricks. Like, I'll think of sleigh different now. I won't think about it as like jumping on it in snow. So really enjoyed it today. I think you have a really bright future.
Thank you.
And, I'm going to reach out to Mo, because we're definitely going to do something fun. We have a podcast coming up there, and we're going to be at one of the malls. And what we'll try to do is, it's pretty neat, because we can actually almost not get in like a workout, but we'll get something in almost like but we're going to do a collab together. We're going to have some fun.
Okay, that would be cool.
I think you bring some youth, and I think you're mature beyond your years. And, I think there's going to be big things in your future. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm excited.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Allie Goldstein, absolutely amazing young woman. So excited to see what the future entails for her. She's got a very bright one ahead of her. Thank you again for our sponsor today, Athletic Freak, and the community that they bring is just absolutely awesome. We're looking forward to the upcoming podcast there. And our biggest ask we could have is if you like the message of today's podcast, please share it. And you can follow Allie it'll be listed on our platform. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys again soon. God bless.